Ashley has me pose after every video. I got to do something stupid, and we laugh about it, and she turns it into a thumbnail.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
cool. Some sort of graphic or
helps.
something like that to kick it off. So
So the next video coming out that we should be posting is Tim singing karaoke, right?
Yes.
Probably this Sunday night.
Yes.
He doesn't know it yet. when
I
he comes
kind of
up to
feel
see
like
us,
if
but
Tim's going to do karaoke,
Kenny Rogers. I mean, I've seen him
I was
dressed as
thinking
Kenny.
he's more of like a Poison, maybe a Bon Jovi type. I mean, what do you
Zero
think?
chance.
So welcome to another episode of the Contacts to Contracts podcast. I am Bryan Lovell, always here with my amazing co-host, Mr. John Jones. What's up, brother?
What's up, man?
It's good to see you.
It's like before we get started, it's a sad day here in town.
It is.
We've got Tim Hart joining us in Fort Myers, but we just heard the news today, and Tom Brady. I think this might be make it official.
You're
he's
messing.
retired.
You're messing with my emotions here, man. God. You're messing with my. We stink again. But Tim Hart, who, by the way, your beard looks amazing today.
It's a little salt and peppery, but I appreciate you pointing it out.
But you just told us not to worry because Kyle Trask is waiting in the wings.
Yeah, man. As a Florida Gator diehard fan, that's the man right there, dude.
Right.
One of the best offenses ever. He's your guy.
Okay. Well, listen, from your lips to God's ears, I hope things go well. So
Now, if you're watching
anyways.
this a year from now and he sucks, I never said this.
All right. So, contrary to popular belief, Contacts to Contracts is not about sports. so let's get into it a little bit. So we brought Tim on because Tim is a legend in the YouTube game, right? And here's the thing about YouTube.
The entire social media game for as far as mortgages go, right? And mortgage professionals, I think. I mean, he's probably got one of the best platforms out there.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like, YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world behind Google. Right, and so there's a reason for the strategy involved here. So, hey Tim, can you share with us a little bit, man? Just tell us about like your overall social media platform, and then John and I will get into some specifics, and we'll talk about what you're doing to kill it out there.
Yeah, sure. I appreciate you guys saying that. We figured out, well, not figured out. I mean, people already figured it out, but years ago that we had to start doing video, and I took the thought of, hey, we're in the mortgage business. It's not that exciting. So how do you kind of dress it up a little bit? And, we did a fishing show for a while called Rates and Reels.
Yes.
And now a lot of our content though is more mortgage driven, but it's created to provide value and content to people that, hopefully it helps them in their buying process, refinance process, or helps realtors out there too. That's the other thing we're trying to help.
All right, so Tim, let me ask you a couple of questions because you got a lot going on in video world, which I love. But so you've got the Heartbeat podcast, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you have a YouTube channel that you go over like mortgage tips and hot tips for consumers, right?
Right.
And then you have Tim Dango, which quite possibly is the best of all of those. Am I missing
Definitely
anything?
is your favorite.
Siskel and Ebert, move over.
Am I missing anything other than those three?
The Rates and Reels.
We haven't done one we're going to do more of those once I lose about 20 pounds. But yeah, we'll do some of those. You got it down. We have a podcast. We have Heartbeat for Realtors as well, which is a realtor podcast we send out.
Okay. So how often is the Heartbeat podcast? How often do you put one up?
We try to do a mortgage related video once a week. That's what we try to do. That video we can convert into a podcast, an audio podcast, but like a longer form one, which would be like, for example, I got a friend who's a paraplegic, known him since high school, and he's going to be he's featured in a book. So like I got the book and I'll do an interview with him here in a week or two. So we try to do that about once every 2 weeks. We'll do a non-mortgage related content.
So like a special interest type story, something along those lines.
Capes, things like that.
And is that built around you just trying to be like the local, because you're in Fort Myers, like the local Fort Myers expert? Like, because I've seen you have like, congressmen on your show, or, you've highlighted restaurants and things like that. Are you just trying to be like the local Fort Myers guru?
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, you want to like I look at it a couple of different ways. One is how do I provide value to the marketplace? How do I, bring certain things that I think are cool, or maybe someone needs to be spotlighted the business, or maybe, we need information on something, or there's something new opening up. And, definitely Southwest Florida is what I would concentrate on. And that's what a lot of the video is oriented around. It just I try to find things that I think are interesting that I want to maybe talk about, and then maybe someone else will want to hear about it too. And then we just do a video about it.
So are you subscribing to like the, Gary Vaynerchuk, he talks about jab, jab, hook. Have you ever heard?
Oh,
yeah. And so like the local Southwest Florida stuff is the jab, jab. And then the mortgage stuff is the flying haymaker.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love Gary V, and the jab, jab, right hook. That, if you want to get the philosophy of it, that's a big part of what we do here. What you talk about when you say you're always, I'm here to serve. I'm here to serve. Jim Rohn, not Jim Rome, because you guys started off on the sports ROHN, right? He talks nonstop, old 80s guy, awesome stuff, but it's about giving value to the marketplace. And that's the kind of stuff you're talking about is like jab, jab. And, you can right hook him whenever you want, but like, I just looked at give.
You're like the Chamber of Commerce, right? The welcome wagon for Southwest Florida.
Would you say the Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah, I mean, you're like the chairman down there, right? The welcome wagon, the committee down there that just wants to add value and highlight businesses and professions. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I was at an event in Fort Lauderdale this past week on Wednesday. During the break, this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, do you know Tim Hart?" And I'm like, "Yes, of course I know Tim Hart." And he goes, "Have you ever seen him hit a softball out of the infield?"
Oh, that's brutal.
That's a little inside joke with us, but dude, it was perfectly timed. It made my day.
Shout out to Chris Kirchner, because he texted me a photo of you and he said, "Hey, do you know this guy?" And I said, "Dude, you got to do me a favor." I said, he's gonna die laughing when you say it.
That's funny. I love it. Well, as we know, everybody in Fort Myers, Southwest Florida knows Tim Hart. That's our little test. So when Bryan and I travel down to Southwest Florida, we stop into a restaurant, anywhere we're at.
Anybody. Yeah.
And just, we have to ask that question. Yeah. So what do you know about Tim Hart? And they all have a story. They all know him in some way, shape, or form.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Oh, jeez. You guys are now you're
But listen, a lot of that, I mean, we're joking about it, but a lot of that is based off of your social media presence. And we're talking specifically about YouTube. That's you're like literally making yourself the local celebrity that just happens to do mortgages in that market. Is that kind of where the strategy is at, Tim?
Hey, absolutely. And local celebrity, celebrity part you can use loosely, but like
middle school baseball coach now.
Yeah, I know that happened yesterday. I'm the middle school baseball coach, assistant baseball coach John Jones.
Hey, you got to start somewhere. I mean, you'll get the head job eventually.
No, nice try. But anyways, it was definitely you want to be locally known. You want to be known in your area, and I really enjoyed the process of putting myself out there. I'm not embarrassed by anything we do normally, and I think it's cool, man, to be able to help promote and highlight other people while, selfish or unselfish, I'm highlighting myself.
Yeah, and I think
it's you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the great thing is you're bringing in people who they find value. You're doing something for somebody that they might not be able to do for themselves, right? And that's where the serving others comes in that you were just talking about.
And he's doing it both on social media, but he's doing even more off social media locally, within the community, coaching baseball, Little League, and helping out and fundraisers and a variety of things in the area. So I think that part's important too. You connect, offline and then online, but he has the full package.
Yeah. Tim, how long you been working on this YouTube channel?
Probably a few years, I think.
And how would we find it? Is it just Tim Hart?
Yeah, Tim Hart Jr. Actually, I don't think I even have a link right now, but yeah, it's under Tim Hart Jr.
Okay. And so all of your stuff is on there. The Tim Dango, the Heartbeat podcast.
Tim Dango.
And then
he loves Tim Dango. I don't do the Tim Dango, Bryan. I know it's going to disappoint you, but I never do videos on it. It's a written post where I watch some crap movie or a good one, and then I write a little post about it. So maybe you get to watch it or don't watch it. I don't do a video on it though.
Okay. So I'm looking forward for you to do Top Gun 2, by the way.
Oh yeah, when's that come out?
I don't know. Who cares when it comes out? But if there's not a
4
Top
years
Gun
coming,
2
it
Tim
better hurry
Dango,
up.
I will never watch Tim Dango again.
Read it.
Read it.
Read it. All right. So getting back serious. So you've been working on this YouTube channel for a couple of years. You're pretty consistent about getting content up there almost every week, if not every week, very, very close. What's been the most difficult part of it? Because I just see people who like, listen, this is a great idea. I would love to be able to do this, but it's certainly not easy, right? And so I'm sure that it's improved over the years, but like, what's been the most difficult part? What's been the challenges?
Oh, consistency, by far. And you guys know, like, it's one thing to create the content, hey, I got an idea. Let's talk about debt to income ratio or something, whatever. But like to do that on a consistent basis every week, that's been the hardest part easily. And thank God I got, Ashley, who works with me, who helps me. She films it, she edits it, but she's always on top of me. Hey, we need, 2 videos. Let's go film these. And so like we kind of like pre-plan the content. And by the way, if anyone's watching this, the content, if you're in real estate or mortgage or whatever business, it happens every day to you.
Yes.
You're replying to emails, you're having the phone calls, like you're taking the questions. That's your content, and you just got to turn it into a quick 1 to 2 minute long video. But it's definitely consistency for me.
Yeah. Yeah. We had somebody on a while back talking about video too. And like their thing was content's everywhere. Like we get so hung up on, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Like it's everywhere. Go read something. I tell folks in our company, we publish a blog every single week that's professionally written by a copyright editor. Just go steal a couple of lines from that and talk about it in video and post it. And boom, you've got content. Yeah,
well, I think too many people out there really overthink what the video is. Like they think, I don't have the setup like you guys have, the 2 mics and the headphones and the backdrop and everything else. And like I got this, brick thing behind me, like it just folds back and forth. But like it doesn't take any of that stuff. It takes literally your phone, and just press and record for a minute and just publish it. It doesn't have to be any big type of production at all.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, one of the things you do, Tim, is you shoot live and you don't really edit it down much at all. If you make a mistake, you just roll with it.
I've actually found it more entertaining to not edit it. It's kind of fun sometimes to bumble through it, because I think
it's authentic.
People need to see that like you're not.
It's not scripted.
You're not a professional. Yeah, it's not scripted. You're not a professional. You mess up, and who cares? Like I always say, Bryan, like people like you in real life, or John, both of you. I don't like John in real life, but Bryan, I do.
I'll get you at fly-in. Don't worry about it.
But like they like you in real life. They like you over the phone or whatever. They're gonna like you on video. You'll be all right. They're not gonna care.
Did you have it? So when you started back, 4 or 5 years ago, starting with the video, what did it look like? Were you doing it just yourself on the phone? Did you have Ashley helping? And what advice would you give to somebody that's like literally deathly afraid of seeing themselves on video, and how do they overcome that?
I would probably start. We started off with she had a camera, Ashley, a nicer camera, and so she wanted to start using that. I think that's how we actually started filming non-fishing show related videos. But like I would probably suggest like people taking their phone out and recording themselves, maybe a couple conversations back and forth. Like, when people have a birthday or something, John, we'll take a phone out and I'll video myself. Hey, John, it's Tim, happy birthday, blah, 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 and send it to them. Just start doing that. Get your feet wet with a little bit of that. And then I would suggest, like, once you have something that's content related, like you just saved a closing, or you just got a harder loan to approve, or saving a deal or whatever, take your phone out and just talk about it real quick, and then just press submit for the love of God. Just push it out there and let yourself be judged, and you'll be shocked by how much people actually like it and appreciate it, and they want to see you do well.
So something about Ashley helping you to get across that finish line. I think it's important if you're out there looking to do video, you've got to have a coach or really an accountability person that's going to make you, drive you, and keep you consistent every week. Because it's easy. A lot of us will start something, including working out, and then without somebody there nudging along, you know, you're going to just find a way. And as busy as it's been the last 2.5 years in the mortgage business, I don't know how you have time to do video. It's amazing. Because your production is doubled and tripled.
I mean, like he says, is you got to make time. And I think, you know, one of the things you and I do for this podcast, and Tim just shared with us, he does the same thing. We make a content calendar, right? We get together every so often, and we talk about, here are the podcasts that we want to do. I'll tell you, one of our challenges is getting guests to commit. So we've got a lot of really great ideas of people we want to have on, or folks that we want to, but trying to get them pinned down to actually do a podcast with us sometimes is hard. So that's where it throws wrinkles in your content calendar. But if you did your content calendar out far enough, let's call it 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks, if 2 or 3 fall through, you're probably still going to be in a pretty good place.
Yeah, we like having, you know, 2 or 3 filmed at all times, you know, but what'll happen though is like we'll have those filmed and then something else, like for instance, second home rates, right? Like when that got announced, that
slide it right in.
Yeah, that's got to be done right away, slid into it. But you know, people need to look at video as just a leg of their marketing. You know, just like they do pipeline updates, or you know, their top realtor calls, or you know, database calls, or whatever. Like video is marketing.
Yeah. So let me take you back to YouTube real quick. What are the topics? What are the videos that you've done on YouTube that bring in the most hits?
Rich P, probably.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Because I constantly YouTube's and you guys know you really gotta like, it's hard to figure out. And the most successful one I have is one with Rich Pasanante, which is what is a mortgage loan processor. And when you get beyond that, a lot of the top ones we have are like about skunk ape, about propane generators versus gas generators, and like, but there's also some mortgage stuff related. And I think a lot of it has to do with like what Google and YouTube likes out of your video. Like the approach I've been trying to take, or we've been trying to take lately, is like forming questions like, you know, what is DTI? You know, something that like people are going to search for, and put that inside, make that the title. You know, what is DTI? What is LTV? You know, when can I buy a house after a bankruptcy?
So there's
like that.
Yeah. So there's 3 things that YouTube picks up on, I think, in written text when you post. Is one is your title, the title of your YouTube video. The second one is the description, and then the third one is the tags. Which, from like research I've done on that, Tim, like they say the tags are, you know, pretty much worthless, but you know, what you're putting in that title or that description is what really hits. And I think you're onto something with the questions. Like, I'll give you an example. Outside of this podcast, I do a show with a couple of buddies called The Man Event, and a shameless plug for The Man Event. And you know, we do things like that just dudes do, right? It's, you know, it's sports and home improvement projects and things like that. The number one video that we have right now is one where we changed the headlights in one of the guy's kids' car, right? And so it's a do-it-yourself video. Thousands of organic hits. By the way, we have way cooler stuff on there, way funnier stuff on there that nobody ever finds.
It's what they're typing into Google.
Yes.
Right? I mean, if you type in, you know, what's the difference between a loan officer and a loan processor, an underwriter, what do they do? I mean, those are the questions that people are interested in, especially if they're looking to get in the business. Yeah. They're going to trigger that video to, you know, to post.
YouTube starts suggesting those videos to them. You know, you bring it up. We had one. I did a live. It was actually a Facebook Live. We converted over to YouTube, but it was a movie review with my buddy, and it was on a documentary called The Wonderful World of Whites. Okay, it was a West Virginia. Have you guys ever seen that movie?
No, never heard of it. Is this a Tim Dango?
You know what? Maybe I do go do videos of them. But this is during COVID, where my buddy Travis and I would do like Cobra Kai or whatever.
Yes,
bingo, love that one.
Yeah, but anyways, it's this obscure movie about these like hillbillies in West Virginia and named the Whites. And that's like one of our top videos. And it's the weirdest thing ever that like YouTube latched onto that one as well.
Yeah. So, going back, so you were saying, and it sounds like, to answer the question, the stuff that's getting the most hits are the things that answer a question or solve a problem.
I think so. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Like mortgage related, like, should I pay off my medical collection?
Okay.
Like that one did a lot of numbers too.
Okay. All right. Now, so you make these videos, you got them on YouTube. Do you post them anywhere else?
Yeah, we email every video we do. We email to our entire database. It could be just going to Realtors only, depends on the content, or it could go to our entire database. We'll send them the description of it, the YouTube, like you guys do with your contacts and contracts video. Same thing. We'll do it to our database. We share the YouTube video to LinkedIn, Facebook, but we also try to post organically to those sites as well if we can.
Yeah. So one of the things we do, so obviously we post to YouTube. Back in the early days of this podcast, we would put the link to the YouTube video in like a Facebook post. And, what we found was nobody was seeing that post. And it's because Facebook is basically blocking that. They don't want to take you off of their platform.
Right.
They want you to go. So then we started embedding the video in the Facebook posts, and the number of views on Facebook went way up. Surprisingly, what the team is telling us now, the views that we're getting from Instagram Reels is where we're getting the most traffic. Like, I don't even have Instagram.
Come on, dude.
Like Reels, like the full video, or are they making short ones of you guys?
Like short ones
that you'd have to click the link. You'd have to just open.
Yeah. That's working well?
Yep.
Yeah, surprising. And like I said, I don't even have Insta. The only Insta I have is the contacts to contracts Insta.
We'll have to get you one. Be love.
Well, just so you know, when you say Insta, it sounds really cool to me, so I'm proud of you.
Couple middle-aged dudes talking about Insta.
What about TikTok?
I don't have that one.
Okay, that one.
I don't know. We might have a contacts to contracts TikTok. I don't know.
All right. I think we do.
Wow.
I would hope we do. So Tim, all this video behind all this to share content. I mean, can you quantify or put a number on, what does it do for your business? And I know you and I talk all the time that you said it's a fourth leg of marketing. But I mean, you get people that reach out to you that you've never spoken with, you've never interacted with, and they're calling from, not even within Fort Myers, so they haven't run across you out, on the ball field or taking kids back and forth to school or church or anything like that. Do you have a percentage, or what do you attribute to, that helping you?
It's very hard. I think it's really hard to quantify, and I think Gary Vee says it some way. It's like you can't qualify or quantify. He has a word for it. It's like attention or whatever it is, because
branding, right? Essentially, you're trying to brand yourself.
That's all this is like, yeah, okay. I'll give you an example. How'd you hear about us? I don't know. I had to do a mortgage and I thought of you. Like, they can't pin it down on why they referred it to us or why they called us. They just knew they had to buy a home or refinance and they called me. Was it the YouTube video? Was it an email? Some stupid Tim Dango that, they love or whatever. But like I think the repetition of hitting these bar or these, potential referral sources, because we're all getting pulled all over the place.
Yeah.
Like the attention's all over, and a lot of their attention is on social media. The people you want to know and then want to do business with is on social. And so you want to try to put your stuff there, but they're scrolling 100 miles an hour. They may never even see it. You're hitting them with text, you're hitting them with email, you're calling, you're, doing mailers and whatever else. And all of a sudden it's like, hey, you're breaking records. And you can't figure out, you can't really pin down why.
I tell you one of the crazy things.
I think it's like Coca-Cola. I mean, it's in the backdrop there, right? Like our contacts to contracts, but it's subliminal, right? And it's hitting people, whether you're in real estate, if you're a realtor, you're scrolling through the feed, but you're seeing not every post that Tim makes or not every video that he shares, but you're top of mind and you're the last person that they're thinking of because they're seeing him consistently on social media, whatever platform it might be.
One of the things, John, that always puzzles me, makes me chuckle, is Like one of us will be at an event, or we'll be at an event together, let's say a mortgage event. And somebody will come up to us and be like, hey, I heard you talking earlier and you have this voice that I really recognize. And I'm like, first of all, that's kind of creepy. Or they'll say something like, hey,
Barry White maybe?
Like I recognize you from somewhere or something like that. And then we'll find out, they'll be like, you guys have
do a video?
You guys have that LinkedIn show. Now, first of all, there's no LinkedIn shows, right? It's just we're posting this podcast on LinkedIn, right. And that may be where people are watching it. So here's the crazy thing. We don't have a ton of followers on our YouTube channel, but that doesn't mean people aren't watching it. And that's the part that you never see. And then, later, again, down the road, you'll be somewhere and people will be like, hey, I watch your videos, or hey, I've seen you on this, or I've seen you on that. Like, Tim, you run into stuff like that?
Yeah, and I talked to John about that a few times. Is like you'll run into people. An example, I was at a high school football game. This was like a year ago, I think, and I had to go from the stands to the concession stand. And within that, and I knew a lot of the people there. Like, I had friends and stuff already there. But like that walk, I ran into 4 different people. And every one of them mentioned a separate video or a separate post or something like that. And they were laughing or chuckling about it or asking about it. Not one of these people have ever interacted, click like, commented, nothing.
Doesn't that frustrate you, though?
I know, not a little bit. Yeah, you're like,
just like it, please, right?
Click like for me, bro. You liked it. You watched the whole thing and didn't do anything.
Click dislike if you don't like it. And give me some love.
But at the same time, though, it kind of reaffirms why you're doing it.
Yes.
You're like, we get the likes and stuff. It's kind of ego driven a little bit. You're like, oh, I got a lot of likes. Yeah. But like in reality, is it working or not? And when you walk through a crowd and you got people talking about different things you've done, it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the great point about doing it and being consistent. I mean, I think it's definitely attributed to your business, the growth in your branch. It's helped. And again, you can't put a number on it, but I say, years ago, right, you had to pay $5,000 or $10,000 to have a billboard put right on a main drag, and you had to weigh the pros and cons. I have it for 3 to 6 months. Is it worth it? My picture plastered up there. I do mortgages, whatever your message was. And today you have access to so many different platforms, and it's in many cases not costing you a nickel.
Right, it's free
to get it out there. So I just don't understand that. If today I took somebody that doesn't do any social media advertising and I said, hey, I can give you a free billboard on US 19, just give me something you want me to post, they'll come up with something. Mm-hmm. So I mean, again, if it's free, I don't understand why people won't attack social media. Whatever it is you do, and this isn't even mortgage related. If you own a restaurant, whatever business you're in, you're trying to promote. I mean, it's important that you're getting your message, your content, your whatever you're selling out there to the consumer.
Hey, but y'all deal with this all the time. What is it? Just fear? Is that all it is?
It's 100% fear. Yeah, and it's the fear and the content.
There,
I think the big thing is that, like we always talk back. It's the content. What am I going to post? People aren't going to find. So the problem I think with lenders, a lot of times we don't think any of our stuff is important because it's back end stuff. Like the customer, doesn't want DTI, LTV. Yeah. Nobody cares why FICO matters, right? Yeah. And what determines your interest rate. But it does. I mean, and that's absolutely when you're looking to refinance or shop for a home, and you're thinking mortgage. You're asking those questions because you're starting to tune in.
Yeah, I think like Tim said, it's boring. I go back like this show. We have the two most watched videos we have. One of them is on business planning. Right, so I can see people are typing into that search bar business planning. They come across it. The other one was on credit repair.
Yeah,
I bet. Yep.
And that was one of the early ones we did in the very beginning when we started this. So, Tim, man, so you've been at this a while. What were some of the mistakes you made
for video?
For video, give me a. Hey, if you're thinking about doing this, I did this. It was an epic fail. Don't make the same mistake as Tim. Do you have anything like that?
I'm sure. I've done a lot of them probably. I think a lot of it has to do with probably sending out something that maybe you meant to edit and didn't, or you missed the part where you're like, hey, cut minute 5 through, 7, and it actually never happens and it's in the video.
Yeah.
I think that would be one, but I don't, maybe not starting early enough.
Wow.
I think if we would have just jumped in earlier, and it shouldn't stop anyone from doing it now.
Yeah. I think it should be the opposite.
Right.
From what Tim just
sense
said,
of urgency.
It should create a sense of urgency for you. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that would probably be it. Like just maybe not starting early enough. Probably slacking on execute ideas. Like, hey, I want to do this video, that video, and I just let it sit and just kind of let the moment slide away. Now, there's probably a couple I could think of.
Yeah, cool. Dude, as we're kind of wrapping up here, like what else do we need to know? Like what else do we need to know on this subject? Like what else do we need to know about using YouTube or using video? Is there anything that we should have covered that maybe we didn't?
I would probably take another second for me just to implore people to get over their fear of it. I can't stress that enough that, like, I look at myself in the mirror sometimes. I'm like, dude, you shouldn't be on video.
You're one handsome dude.
Yeah, you got a face for radio.
Yeah, you need to stick with audio, Tim. But like I said it earlier, they know you, man. They like you. They're gonna want to hear from you. Like it doesn't mean like if you put a video out, it's gonna go worldwide. But like your sphere of influence is going to enjoy seeing you, and if they don't, they're at least gonna know that you're hustling. That you're trying, and it'll register with them, and you will go from here to here, right? Like, because they see you hustling and trying, and you're doing your best out there to make a living. And I think majority of people will look fondly upon you.
I would say to that point, I love that you brought that up. Like what you said was, I want to help people get over the fear. And we're joking around about, if you got a face for audio. I think for me, one of the things is, don't be afraid to be authentic. And what I mean by that is, when you start doing this, you have a desire to some degree to entertain people, right? Like, hey, did they think I was entertaining, or did they think I was funny, or what? Like, hey, just be authentic and true to yourself, and that's what people will be drawn to and appreciate.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's don't look back when you start out and you're new. Don't look how many likes, right? Mm-hmm. Don't necessarily look at the views, but there's a lot of success stories where people started where they were posting stuff and had 0 views, their first few, posts. And it takes time for traction, and you never know. Ultimately, people don't always like, comment, or share. Doesn't mean they didn't see your content out there. So being consistent and not giving up. Yeah. Again, you can't put a number on it, but I think, I've seen people, get into doing video. And they do it for, maybe 3, 4, 5 times. They start, and then for whatever reason, it just gets side railed, and I got to get back and do videos. And I talked to somebody earlier this week about it. I really need to get back in and start doing videos. It's finding the time to do it and realizing that people are seeing your content out there.
Yeah.
The other thing, just to add in, like, you can't get hung up on views either, because like we're talking about YouTube, and I have a pretty active channel, and I mean, when I publish a video, if I get more than like 30 views on it, I'm like, oh, that did all right.
Yep.
Yeah. But you can't get hung up on like, well, this one did 1,000 and this one did 20. All you got to do is just try to look at it and say like, well, why this one do better maybe, and just keep putting out the content, try to make it just better.
I mean, I know that, Tim, you've reached out to me on, at night and on weekends where somebody from Orlando or the East Coast of Florida, just a different markets reached out to you to do a loan. And you have no idea, how'd you get my name, number? And, it was through a video that, that they watched, and they never even commented or liked the video.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you are getting traction, and again, it's getting seen out there, and it's free.
Yeah.
I mean, so get your message out there before your competitors do, and I do think you'll see your business isn't going to go down.
Yeah,
I'd be willing to bet venture that it's not going to go the other way. People are not going to run and hide.
You're absolutely 100%.
It's going to get I don't want to name names, but every time I have certain loan officers begrudgingly post a video, they'll call me. They'll call me the next day and say, "I can't believe how many people, realtors, past clients, reached out and said I loved your video." Because I think that's the really cool part. It's just getting them to consistently, post the content.
Yeah. I love it.
Well, shout out to YouTube, by the way, because YouTube, not YouTube, Brian and John. I have listened to you guys for years. Push video to your loan officer. So if you're a VanDyk Mortgage loan officer and you're still not doing video, shame on you, because Brian and John have been telling you about it for years.
And hey, here we are putting our money where our mouth is too.
That's right.
Nice. And the cool thing is, you know, we're fortunate, we're blessed that we work for a company that has, you know, a lot of great people.
Yes.
Right? And Tim, you're kind of the pioneer when it comes to video, and you're always willing to share your content. And what I mean by that is, not only is he willing to share, he's willing to let people basically script off what he's already posted.
Yeah.
So he's not out there trying to, you know, hide it or keep it secret. It's not, you know, he doesn't protect the content. He's like, hey, if you like that video, go ahead and spin it yourself and post it.
Do what you want. Yeah.
You know, so I love that about you, Tim. I mean, that's awesome, and you have encouraged, you know, those that have jumped into video. A big part of it's because of you and all the efforts that you put forth.
Hey guys, I just thought of something we need to bring up before we end this out. But one of the things I think is important on YouTube too is what do you call the what's the thing? The graphic that leads your
thumbnail?
Thumbnail, boom. Your thumbnail is hugely important too. And I noticed, like, on your channel, you make sure that the thumbnail is intriguing and ask those questions or whatever, right? So before you even click play, you kind of know what's about to come. And I have found that thumbnail too is really important in terms of, you know, trying to get your content viewed.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Ashley has me pose after every video. I got to do something stupid, and we laugh about it, and she turns it into a thumbnail.
Yeah, nice. Cool. Some sort of graphic or something like that to kick it off. So
the next video coming out that we should be posting is Tim singing karaoke, right?
Yes.
Probably this Sunday night.
Yes.
He doesn't know it yet.
I kind of feel like if Tim's going to do karaoke,
Kenny Rogers. I mean, I've seen him dressed as Kenny.
He's more of like a Poison, maybe a Bon Jovi type. I mean, what do
Zero
you
chance. You guys are being filmed by a band.
You're right about that.
I don't want to run them off.
Well, dude, Tim, thanks for coming in and dropping bombs, dude. You are always the consummate professional, and you bring a lot of fun and entertainment to what we do too. Congratulations to you, by the way, on all of your success. And, you know, I just say to everybody, you know, if you're watching, thanks again for tuning in. If you're following us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, wherever it is, apparently maybe TikTok.
And go ahead and Google Tim Hart. Start following Tim Hart.
Tim Hart Jr.
Like, comment, and share.
Yep. So thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Context to Contracts podcast. On behalf of Tim Hart, John Jones, I'm Bryan Lovell. And if there's anything you need, please know we're always here to serve.